G'day, Ben here. How you going? Today we're going to talk about content marketing. You've probably heard the term before, content is king, and wondering what does that actually mean? And in 2022, marketing has definitely changed when it comes to best practice. Digital marketing has certainly changed the way that we have to think about how we reach our target market, and content marketing is a huge part of that. And so, if you haven't sort of started with your content marketing, if you haven't got a plan together, then this video will certainly give you a bit of guidance as to what you need to think about. And the other thing is, if you've already started and you want to make sure that you're getting the best results that you possibly can, then this video is also for you. So let's dive straight in and talk a bit about content marketing. Now, first of all, this is content marketing. This Facebook Live video or wherever you're watching this video after we download it and distribute it across the internet. This is content marketing. It's super helpful marketing where somebody can quickly digest a bit of information that helps them achieve whatever goals it is that they have with their digital marketing. And because our target market is people that want to improve their results from digital marketing, we create content that is nice, bite-sized, helpful content around helping you to be able to achieve that. And so this, in its very essence, is content marketing. So, watch what happens today and use this yourself as a bit of a guide as to something that you could do in your own business. So I think the biggest mistake people make when it comes to content marketing is not having clear goals and objectives and deciding how they're going to do it. It can be very, very overwhelming because there's so many different things that you could do. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today in today's video. But there are so many different ways to do content marketing that I think a lot of people get immensely overwhelmed with the different things that are possible. And instead, what I'm going to suggest you do is you really define your goals and objectives and decide what's important to you. And the way that you need to do that is in your business, have a think about what is the trigger point for somebody buying from you. Why does somebody buy from you? What problem do they have? What happened in their life or in their business that made them reach out to make the purchase decision? And then what is your mechanism for converting a lead into a customer? Is it a meeting? Is it someone going to your website? Is it somebody getting a quote? Is it somebody asking you to come and visit them to measure and quote? It depends what it is, right? But once you understand that, it'll really help you set your goals and objectives. So I'll give you an example. So in my business coaching and training business, which is my other business, our trigger point is, or our conversion point is what we call a business assessment. And we do a business assessment for somebody who has an interest in growing their business. They want to take it to a point where it's more profitable, more efficient. It relies less on them having to be there. And the hurdle for them is that we know that one of their biggest challenges is they don't know how to set out their plan and structure their business to make that happen. So we know that business assessment is the point at which we convert one of our leads into a paying customer. And so what we need to do is we need to get people to that point. Now, if all we did was we marketed a business assessment, most people wouldn't know what that is, right? So if we said, we're inviting you for a business assessment, the opt-in rate is very, very low. So instead what we do is we go, okay, well, what is the actual hurdle that they think they have? And then try and answer that hurdle. And we do that with what's called lead magnets or through content marketing. So we might do something on managing time, recruiting staff, systemizing the business, planning better, managing your money. Like all of those topics then come out of that because we want to attract that target market so we can start the conversation. Now, depending where that content is, then we have a call to action where they might download a lead magnet or they might opt in for a discovery call or they might do something. So we have very clear goals and objectives. So our content marketing objective is to drive traffic through our media channels, whether it's our website, social media, onto our, eventually we want them on our email database. So that's number one objective. Once we get them onto our email database, then we can continue to nurture that lead. And we do that through making contact with them through our sales team. It might be through online training events and webinars. It might be through special offers that we make. It may just be sending out more content, right? So one of the best ways to build a relationship with somebody once you have them in your database, you know what their problem is because they've entered because of a certain reason, then you can market more articles to them or more opportunities to watch a video or to download a cheat sheet that's going to help them, right? So when it comes to content marketing, really get clear about your goals and objectives and think about what it is you're trying to achieve with each piece of content. So for example, this piece of content here, the objective is to create a video that can be used to create other content. We also want to make sure that in this community, you get exclusive content first, right? So you're getting this content first. So that's one of the objectives, is making sure that this group has really valuable content around digital marketing that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level, regardless of whether or not you buy from us. That's okay. You will see from time to time, we'll make offers or we'll do call to actions, but that's not really the nature of a Facebook group. If you want to reach out, you will. If you want to download one of my freebies, you will. And then you'll go into that next stage of the life cycle of one of our leads. So get really clear on what your goals are. And so it might be, you might be doing content marketing so you can increase your email marketing database by 10 people per day, for example, right? So if you're going to create some content, then what you can do is you can work out, what do I do with that content to achieve that goal? Now, of course, you don't want people just in your database for the sake of that. You'd have another goal for why you would do that as well. But be really clear. I see too many people not having clear objectives. If you've got a clear objective, it can then really drive how you create your content. So my content strategy is I create a video because that's the most easy and natural thing for me to do. And then what I do is I get that video and I turn it into other content. So it'll go up on a YouTube channel at some stage. It will get transcribed into a blog post on our website. It'll get used as an email marketing piece out to our database. And so, as you create your content, think about, what are my objectives? Number 2 is know your audience. So really understand who your audience is and what type of content they're going to want to consume. Now, this is getting easier and easier for you to work out. So instead of you pontificating, sitting there staring at your belly button, wondering, what does my audience want? Just ask them, right? That's the first thing is, type an email out to your customers or do something to a Facebook group if you've got that, or a Facebook page, and ask people what are they struggling with. Maybe you give them 5 choices that they're likely to pick from, and then you can sort of get a feel for what type of content is going to work really, really well. Now, I've got a few different online properties, if you like, and I do this quite often. I just ask the question, what's your number one challenge that you're faced with? And they tell me, and that drives them what traffic or what content I will create for my audience. So really get to know your audience, what it is that they want, what are they struggling with, what problem they got, what hurdles have they got that is stopping them from achieving a solution for themselves, and then what desired outcome do they have, what is it that they want to achieve. Now, a really good way for you to find out some ideas for your content is go to answerthepublic.com. Answer the Public is a website. You can use it very limited per day for free. You can sign up and you can pay for it, but you don't need to. Just get a free account. And in the Answer the Public, there's a little box. You just type in there a search term. It could be the service that you offer or the something around. You'll see it makes sense once you get there, and it will generate a stack of content ideas for you, enough for you that you don't have to worry too much about worrying about what your audience is thinking. It will tell you because it looks at all the searches that are happening with search engines and feeds you back data. So it makes it really easy for you to decide on what type of content. Now, of course, the other thing you need to understand is the demographics, the age, the location, the times they're online, all of those things. What sort of media do they like to consume? How long should your content be? All of those things are really important. So make sure that when you're thinking about who your audience is, you're not just thinking about what are they searching for, but who are they? So you can make sure that you're really clear in your content, that you deliver it in a way that they're going to love consuming. The third tip is then create really compelling content. So, a lot of people are really afraid to give a lot away. And I learned many, many years ago that you can pretty much give away the farm. People still won't know how to turn that farm into, the final product. So, don't ever feel like you're giving away too much, because I feel that in 2022 in particular, if you're going to be really good at content marketing, you have to be generous and be generous with what you teach, and do not expect anything in return. And I think that's probably the biggest secret that I can part with you today is don't expect anything in return. Create really compelling content, stuff that is amazingly helpful. So for example, if you go to my website, digitlc.com.au/Facebook guide, you can download a guide that gives you 17 different ways to generate leads on Facebook. Okay, so digitlc.com.au/Facebook guide. If you download that guide, I guarantee you that you will get 17 different ways that out of that you'll find 5 or 6 that'll work for your business. I also have in that same guide my 3-step process for how I create an ad or a post on Facebook that is super effective. And I just give that away. And a lot of people go, but why would you give that away? Because now everyone's going to copy your formula. Well, at the end of the day, you're going to find it somewhere, right? So why not get it from me? And I want you to use it. I want you to have success. And you go, oh my goodness me, that worked really, really well. And if that is what happens, then you're likely to come back and you're going to want to buy from me because you go, this guy's been really transparent. He's been integral. He's given me really good content that has actually worked. And so you start to build this trust up that you don't get with anybody else, right? So make sure that with your content, it's really compelling, but it's also very effective and does the job. Make sure you're identifying your target market needs and wants. Create content that's interesting, informative. It's got to be engaging. Use a variety of formats too. Don't just use guides. Use video. Use checklists. Use webinars. Use you name it. There's many, many different ways that you can engage people. And then you can just measure the success of it, which we'll talk about shortly. Now, step 4, and this is really important because, they say build it and they will come. I don't know if you've heard that before. Build it and they will come. Well, it's not true on the internet. No. If you want people to see your content on the internet, the best way to do it is to pay to play, is to pay. Get it out there. Promote your content. Now, you don't have to pay money and just do ads. There's other things you can do as well. So here I'm going to give you 3 of the secrets of what it is that I do that work really well. The first one is I use pay-per-click advertising. So we run ads on Facebook and Instagram, and we get our content out in front of people. We pay for that. And you might be going, even if it's just a blog post, you might be going, why would you do that? Or even just a Facebook post. Well, it's awareness. It's getting people to see our brand, our message. And if it's really helpful content, people will stop and they will read it, they'll consume it. And the next time they see some content, they're more likely to stop and consume it and read it. Now, this is called operant conditioning, right? So by doing this, operant conditioning is a technique that is used to train mammals. And, dolphins get fish, dogs get treats, kids get lollies, right? So when you give a treat out, which is a really helpful piece of content, and they enjoy it, they consume it, and they use it, and they get results, then they're likely to want to come back for more, right? So that's why we pay to get our content in front of people. So definitely use pay-per-click advertising to get your content out there. The second secret that I've got is that I use paid newsletter placements is probably the best way to put it. So there's lots of companies that send out regular newsletters where you can buy a banner ad. And in those banner ads, you can have a click through to a piece of your content. It could be an actual downloadable thing where they opt in and give you their email address, or it could just take them somewhere where they get really valuable content and get to consume what it is that you've created earlier. That's super helpful. Now, this is a way to get out to a massive number of people very, very quickly because some companies already have a massive database. Now, you will have to pay for that, right? That's just because they've put all the effort and energy into building that big database. You're going to have to pay for that. So it's another area where you would invest. So I would suggest in that instant, and this is what I do, is if I'm going to do that as a strategy, I will put it on opt-in page on whatever content I'm giving away. So for example, let's say you've got a database of business owners that are interested in marketing of 10,000. You charge me X dollars to send out, put a little ad on your newsletter, and it might be something like download my, free Facebook guide. That's what I'll do. And then my third secret is joint venture marketing. Now, this is where you need to have a bit of a database because otherwise there's nothing in it for your venture partner. But when you do a joint venture, you find somebody who has a similar target market but is not a competitor, and you ask them to send your content out to their database, and in return, you'll take a piece of their content and you'll send it to your database. And so you do a little bit of a swap. Very, very good way because this way it doesn't cost anything except for everything has a cost, but let's say it doesn't have a monetary cost. It costs a bit of your time. And of course, you want to make sure that whatever you send out to your database is not going to annoy them. So it's got to be relevant. Otherwise, it might cost you some subscribers, which it normally does. But it's a highly effective way of getting your content out in front of more people. All right, my fifth little tip for you, little gold nugget when it comes to making sure your content marketing is super effective is to measure your results. So, I've given you a lot of tips on what you could be doing, how you could be creating content, some things to think about. But what's really important is that you measure the results that you're getting. So if you are doing a joint venture, make sure that way you know that what you give them to promote is working, right? So each and every landing page needs to be measured for its conversion rates, and then look at what results you're getting in your business from a sales point of view. So, for example, this week, for example, I know that we've had a few clients come on board, and I know that those clients, whether it's in my business coaching company or my digital marketing company, I know where they've come from because we measure everything, and I know that they've come from my content marketing. So one of them, for example, came from a business plan template download from a Facebook ad that they downloaded a few weeks ago. That person has come on board as a client in our coaching business. We've had a client come on through my digital marketing business on a monthly retainer for us to manage their social media marketing and their digital marketing. That person came from a webinar that I run. So, for example, there's always a way to, if you can measure it and you can see how many of my sales come from different content, then you can sort of decide what type of content you put together, what's going to work really well for you. I will just wrap it up by saying, pick a content medium that you're really comfortable with and use that because as a starting point, because then it will be easy. If it's uncomfortable or it's difficult or, there's too many things to think about to try and get it up and running. Like, for example, if you're not comfortable doing a Facebook Live like this, then you might find this really quite challenging to do. For me, this is very easy. And it's very cost effective because I already had my podcasting microphone. I've got a webcam. I've bought a couple of cheap lights, the video lights, and this is it. This is a very easy content for me to create. I do spend a little bit of time beforehand creating some notes. So I've got a 904-word blog post already created, and that's how I create my script, I guess, or my framework for my video. So as I said, I like to pull back the curtains and tell you what I do. So I've already written a 900-word article. And I just start with bullet points and then I thrash it out. I then take those bullet points and I deliver it here in a video. This video can then also be transcribed to be used as an article or as a blog post, but the video will definitely be put on the website along with with whatever the final article is because it helps with SEO. So these are all the things that you think about, right? So as you're creating your content, but this is the starting point for me. But pick something you're comfortable with. Just because I say video is great doesn't mean it's something that you're going to be comfortable doing. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and thanks for your comments. I can see we had a comment there. Agree, you can't beat generosity. Yeah, absolutely. Generosity wins every time. There are certain things in life that just work, and giving is never ever going to be something that doesn't work. Like, people love to get stuff for nothing, and if it's valuable and it's helpful, then you're always going to get a return on your investment. So thanks for tuning in live today. For those of you that are watching the replay, thank you. Really appreciate it. Make sure you do give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And just a reminder, you can head across to my website, which is digitlc.com.au, and you're able to download the free Facebook guide there by going to /Facebook guide. You won't find it any other way. You will have to put that /Facebook guide after the URL. But have a look around anyway. There's a few things on there for you. A lot of blog articles you can go and read as well, and you get a feel for our content marketing strategy. Now, of course, if you're not watching this live in the Facebook group, then I invite you to come along and join the Digital Marketing Success Network Facebook group. It's a private group on Facebook where these videos go out first. So if you like to be first and get first access to the content I create, then that's the place to hang out. All right. I hope you have a good Easter. Thanks so much for tuning in, and see you next time.